You know, there's this really weird, creeping sickness that can absolutely wreck a road trip. It's a feeling we've pretty much all had, but if you actually stop and think about it, it makes zero sense. So today, let's get into it. Motion sickness. Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're in the passenger seat, maybe scrolling on your phone, reading a book, and you feel totally fine. And then, bam! Out of nowhere, it hits you. That awful, queasy, cold sweat feeling that just screams, something is very, very wrong here. So why? What is actually going on inside our bodies?
The fact that it always seems to happen this way, when we're moving but our eyes are focused on something that isn't, well, that's our first huge clue. See, this isn't really a stomach problem. The real issue is starting way up in your brain.
Okay, so here's ground zero for the whole mess. Your eyes, totally locked onto your phone screen, are telling your brain one story. Hey, everything is perfectly still. But at the same time, the rest of your body is feeling every single turn, every little bump, and it's sending a completely different message.
This disagreement, it sparks a full-blown crisis in your brain. Motion sickness doesn't begin in your stomach at all. It's what happens when your brain tries to make sense of two totally different versions of reality at the exact same time.
To really get this, we need to meet the key players. Your brain basically uses three main systems to figure out where you are. You've got your eyes, right, the visual system. Then there's the vestibular system, that's in your inner ear. And finally, proprioception, which is just your body's amazing sense of its own position. It's how you can touch your nose with your eyes closed. Normally, these three are best friends, working in perfect harmony.
Let's zoom in on the one you might not know about, the vestibular system. Tucked away deep in your inner ear are these incredible little canals filled with fluid. I want you to think of them like a super sensitive 3D level, like the kind a carpenter uses. As you move, that fluid sloshes around, telling your brain exactly how you're tilting, turning, or speeding up. It's your body's built-in motion detector. So let's go back to the car. You're staring at your phone. Your eyes are sending a crystal clear report up to brain headquarters. All good up here. We are totally stationary. But at the exact same time, the fluid in your vestibular system is going nuts, sending an emergency alert. Mayday, mayday, we are moving, we're turning, accelerating.
And your brain gets both of these reports and just short circuits. It's got a huge problem on its hands, a sensory conflict. Two of its most trusted sources are telling it completely opposite things, and it has no idea which one to believe. It's a system error of the highest order.
And this is the real kicker, isn't it? I mean, a data glitch is one thing, but why on earth is your brain's solution to this problem to trigger a full-scale evacuation of your stomach? Well, the answer is just fascinating, and it takes us way, way back in our evolutionary history.
The reason you feel so sick is because your brain is running a really, really old piece of survival software. Think of it like a program that's kept us alive for millions of years, but it just hasn't gotten the latest update for things like cars and boats. You have to remember, for our ancient ancestors, a sensory conflict like this was basically unheard of. There were no cars, no virtual reality games. So if your senses suddenly went haywire, your vision got weird while your body felt fine, there was really only one logical explanation. You'd just eaten something very, very bad.
So your brain, through literally millions of years of trial and error, learned a critical rule. When your senses don't add up, when reality itself seems to be glitching, you have to assume the absolute worst-case scenario. And that worst-case scenario was always...
That's right, poison. Your brain jumps to the conclusion that you have been poisoned. It thinks you ate some kind of neurotoxic berry that's now scrambling all your sensory data. And its reaction to that is swift, it's logical, and it is brutally effective.
So your brain triggers its emergency poison protocol. It has no idea about cars or iPhones. All it knows is the data is wrong, and the number one survival move is to hit the big red button on the vomit reflex to get that toxin out of your system now. And that's the great irony of motion sickness, isn't it? That horrible, nauseous feeling is actually your brain acting like a hero, trying to save your life from a danger that isn't even there. It's a false alarm on an epic evolutionary scale. Okay, but this brings up a really obvious question. Why doesn't the driver ever get sick? I mean, they're experiencing the most motion out of everyone, but they almost never feel queasy. The answer comes down to one simple thing: control.
So check this out. Both the passenger and the driver feel the motion in their inner ear, but the driver's eyes see the road ahead, matching that feeling. And even more importantly, the driver's brain anticipates every single move, Before they even turn the wheel, their brain is already syncing up the data. The passenger, on the other hand, is just along for the ride, and it's that surprise, that lack of prediction that causes the conflict.
So now that we know what's setting off this ancient alarm, how do we turn it off? How do we tell our brain, hey, false alarm, we're not poisoned, we're just on the highway? Well, luckily, there are a few really simple tricks to fix the glitch.
First, and this is the most effective thing you can do, put the phone away and look out at the horizon. This forces your eyes to see the same motion your inner ear is feeling, and it immediately resyncs the data and cancels that error message. Second, ginger. It actually has compounds in it that can help calm down your stomach. And third, you can just get used to it. With enough exposure, like sailors getting their sea legs, your brain can actually learn to just ignore the conflict altogether.
So the next time you feel that awful queasiness creeping in, just remember, it's not a weakness. It's not a flaw in your design. It's an ancient, powerful survival instinct just trying to do its job. Your body is protecting you with a brilliant, if slightly outdated operating system. All of which really just leaves one last question. Now that you know all this, what's your preference? Are you the person who has to be up front, in control, or can you brave the sensory battlefield of the back seat? Thanks for watching.